Hey everybody, Konaja here. Welcome back to the Mindcrack server. We are over at Beef's Swamp Village, and I have recently been working on Beef Swamp Village, or helping out, let's say. I've been continuing the build as Beef has kind of moved on to some other Minecraft series, and I have been doing this thing where I go around and kind of work on people's projects around the server since, you know, obviously they had some other things come up to do, and I quite enjoy things like this Swamp Village build. Certainly was one of my favorites. I watched all of his videos about this, and I thought it would be an interesting challenge for me to try and build some more of this village in the theme that he had set out. And on stream, I did build a few buildings. This one, I think this one, maybe not. I don't know. I guess I've done a good job because I can't even tell which ones are mine. Okay, definitely that one. And this garden here, over here, that's Fedrin's fishery. So yeah, that's why I kind of pushed out this way so that we could finish out this side, and Fedrin's fishery would look like it's connected to the village. There's still tons to do over here. This is a huge plot. A very ambitious project was started here, and there's lots to do. I hope that the cycle of content comes back around and Beef decides that he wants to work on this some more, and perhaps we could work on it together in some way or another, or at least he'll be able to focus on some things that are slightly more interesting. Like, I know he wanted to make this the market area. So I'm just working on some of the general housing around here. The reason, though, that I'm recording an episode today is we got some topics related to Mindcrack that I want to cover. Number one, the recent Mindcrack UHC. UHC number 30 recently wrapped up. Well, it wrapped up for me. If you haven't seen the UHC at this point, then, well, you probably should, or you're gonna get spoiled. Like, I don't know how to tell you anything without spoiling anything. So if you don't want to hear about it, go watch it. Go watch it right now. But UHC 30, boy, we started talking about doing this one way back when the Mindcrack marathon happened. That was when the main bit of discussion came up to even, you know, hey, we should do another one of those. We all enjoy it, so we should do that. Well, discussion comes, discussion goes, and decisions are made or not made. And here we are, nearly a year later from the last UHC, UHC number 30. The group is, it's a nice mix. I made this comment on Reddit where it's such a nice mix of new and old. There's, you know, Good and Pause that are UHC originals. There's brand new with like Soccer and Doll. So very cool. It's a very cool mix of talent. You know, that's always, for me, I see it as a plus. For audiences, sometimes that's a bit of a drawback. Sometimes people want to see, you know, just the OGs, but that is what it is. I like the crop of people. I really like the format that we went with this time. What we really wanted to do was the old mumble thing where when everybody spawned in, everybody was basically on call together, but you had to have proximity. You had to be close to somebody in order to hear them. And the first person you would meet up with would be the person that was your teammate, and you would have to talk over that mumble server, so you'd have to be within proximity of each other. That's a super cool concept. I think it only happened once in UHC history. I don't know. I'm so bad with memory that I don't always remember all of the details perfectly, but I think that was the case where only one of those ended up happening. Wow, that's the opposite of what I wanted there, Stan. So this time around, we couldn't get that to work in time, and we all just really wanted to get the thing underway. So we went with the concept of the first person you find would be the person that ended up being your teammate, which is a cool concept, and that's something I believe they've done in the past as well. Certainly the first time that I've ever done anything like that. The search for a teammate got a little bit of a rocky start because we were also using a new plugin server for the first time. Goons used it a couple times, but honestly, it hadn't been debugged. It hadn't been used enough at that point to really feel real confident about it. And it does seem like there was a little bit of a problem in that some players spawned very, very close to other players. And that became a problem for the likes of, hi, me, this person, because I did not spawn next to anybody else. And because of that, I'm going to do something a little funky with this one. Because of that, I started out basically with no teammate for the first, 4 episodes? So for quite a while there, 4 Minecraft days, I was solo, which is a bummer for sure, because that means that I didn't have time to spend caving. I didn't have the ability to be just looking for, you know, goods. I started in a mine shaft that could have, I think that very well could have been, oh, I don't have more stairs. Could have been a great start for me. I could have had all the things I could ever need if I had had a teammate. But the idea of going through that mine shaft and dying in the mine shaft before I even had a teammate didn't sit very well with me. I am not a UHC expert. I don't play UHC very frequently, and honestly, I haven't been in that many in the past. I've done maybe 1 or 2 solo ones and 3 or 4 teammate ones. Like very, very, very few. The difference for this one is finally when doing them with the Mindcrack group, that's no longer like a stress point for me. It used to be a matter of, oh no, what if I'm on a team that the person doesn't know me at all and it's gonna be real awkward and awful. That stuff doesn't necessarily bother me anymore, so that's cool that I feel comfortable enough with the group. Hold on, I'm trying to get, that's not what I want. I want you to be a regular stair. How do I accomplish this? I just don't know. I guess I could use scaffolding. Whoever I found was gonna be fine. That was gonna work out, and it'd be great, and I would enjoy. However, I didn't end up finding anybody for quite some time there. That did present a little bit of an opportunity, though, in that I actually got to do a little bit of solo commentary. And I think for many people, that was the first time they'd ever actually heard me doing solo commentary. Which is cool, because I think that's kind of the thing that I feel like I am decent at with Minecraft and with Let's Playing and that kind of stuff. I missed the boat on that stuff. I never really got to join in on the heydays of, Let's Plays. Did that rhyme? That kind of rhymed. So yeah, I never really got to put any of those skills on display. So that was cool to be able to do that there, and I felt very at home with it. And hopefully some people decided that, hey, this cone guy that I might not have sat perfectly with a lot of people when I was first introduced with the group. Maybe they saw something in me that they hadn't really previously seen. So that I enjoyed. However, as time went on and not having a teammate went on, it wait, those are the wrong things. It started to become a real issue. What I didn't want to have happen is I didn't want to get down to like a final battle and have everybody, like the 4 of us it was left, me, Good, Brian, and Doll, I didn't want us to be solos and trying to figure out, well, who's going to team with who? And what do we do now? None of us have anything. Because I had a feeling that all of us were going through that same struggle of, well, do we search for a teammate? Do we not search for a teammate? What do we do now? That was kind of the concern for me. So I really prioritized finding a teammate as fast as possible. I did one little controversial thing in that I might have given a little bit of a clue as to where I would be in the map. And I did that because it was so early when almost everybody found a teammate that I felt like maybe people spawned real close to each other. And now that I've seen and watched the UHC, that was indeed the case. Some people started pretty much just right next to each other. And that is not what we had in mind. It was supposed to be a challenge to find a teammate, not a given. So, yeah, I may have given some hints to my location. But, yeah, like I said, I don't regret doing that. And honestly, I didn't have too much of a terrible response to it. But I was worried. The UHC stuff brings out a certain, like, passion in people. People get a very riled up about it. So I was worried that there was going to be, you know, some kind of, like, controversial topic about it. And people were going to be upset. But no, I didn't really face too much of that. I think people understood. And it didn't really help that much either. I mean, I think Good ended up knowing where I was and how to find me, but it wasn't like a pinpoint thing. It was still rather difficult to figure out where I was. This is the hardest part of these builds, the roofs. So yeah, no regrets there. I have no regrets. And to have found Good as a teammate was fantastic. I really enjoy the time I get to spend with Good in like PUBG and any of the stuff that we end up doing together. Obviously, hang out with Good in the real world, and have recently moved, you know, fairly close to him. So the two of us, you know each other pretty well at this point, and I certainly like the idea of having him as a teammate in UHC, even though the man's stressful to have as a teammate, I gotta tell you. It's so weird how in anything else, I'm kind of the quiet and reserved one, and Good is the, you know, I don't want to say loud, but the louder one. I have to say loud. You know, he's usually the energetic and you know, outspoken one, versus I'm more of the, you know, just kind of plodding along thing, or person. In this case, I felt like I was the one that had like the energy, and I was into it. I was very talkative, and I don't know what came over me, but I was kind of just like all over the place, commentary wise. And Good was bizarrely like, I guess because of the nerves of it, I don't know. He just wasn't the Good that I'm kind of used to. It was so much more like I was carrying a conversation, and that was really interesting. It was in this kind of a neat role reversal, if you will, that I quite enjoyed. How's that looking? The leaf roof part always gets me. It's looking a little too all over the place right now. Let's try and trim this in a little bit. All right, let's set a lantern down on the porch here. It just seemed like a theme that he was going for was no torches in this town. And let's see, yeah, where were we? Good. Oh, I didn't really get to spend very much time with Good because a creeper stole him from us very early on. And pretty much at that point, I was so riled up about the whole thing, and I was so nervous just trying to find a teammate that by the time that the creeper exploded him instantly, removing him from the game, I don't want to say I had given up, but I wasn't focused anymore. I wasn't focusing on the game at all at that point, so it was difficult for me to carry on very far. And with the way things went, like I got myself geared up, I got everything I needed, but by the time I got myself geared up, I had already been found, basically. And at the point I got found, there was nothing I could do. If it would have been any other team that found me, maybe. But to be found by the two players that were probably most stacked at that point, I was pretty much doomed. There's so many coulda, woulda, shouldas there. I wish I had placed my TNT as a trap. I wish I had... let's see. I wish I had taken my armor off and hidden the cave so that I wasn't glowing bright purple in this cave, because I forgot that that was a mechanic. I wish I had escaped when they themselves had gone down the wrong route in the cave to find me. I didn't realize that I had an opportunity there to try to escape. So many coulda, woulda, shouldas. But there's nothing I can do about that. You know, that's how it went. I didn't do any of those things. I got found in my cave. If they had not ever gone down in there and found me in the spot that I thought they wouldn't check, then who knows what might have happened. But it didn't happen that way, and that was the end of our game. There's a couple of mechanics to Minecraft that really frustrate me, and most of them have to do with PvP and PvE, just the overall fighting mechanics. I hate to say it, I really am in the camp of the original combat mechanics were better than the new ones. I try not to be terribly curmudgeon-y that way, not accepting of, you know, new mechanics and whatnot. But I really do feel like the shield caused Minecraft to just become more frustrating. It turned a simple mechanic into something that's so very random feeling. It feels like there's just no logic to when you're going to take damage, when you're not going to take damage, and when a mob can attack you or not. And they had to buff the way the mobs, you know, could attack just in order to get the ability to not have the player be overpowered. A lot of unfortunate decisions had to come from the shield, I feel. That's just the way that I feel about it. Not everybody feels that way. But the ability of the skeletons to hit you without looking at you, and the abilities of creepers to basically dive bomb you and kill you with no fuse and with no warning and with nothing you can do really. To me, that's not like challenging gameplay. That's just bad gameplay, where it's you are being punished for existing kind of gameplay. That makes me very frustrated. Versus it felt like in the older styles of PvE and PvP, you had to make a few more critical decisions to decide, you know, if you were gonna take some damage here or not and stuff like that. Versus now, it feels like it's just very much so said and done very quickly. There's not the long drawn out battles anymore. It's just like, well, who landed the first strike here? Okay, well they win. That's the way it feels to me now. But I'm very inexperienced with it. I am not like I said earlier, I don't do a lot of PvP stuff. I don't do a lot of even hardcore. Like I don't play a lot of ultra hardcore. I've only been invited to a few of them, so it's not like I'm some kind of seasoned veteran that should have any kind of major opinion on this, I feel. Should that be dark? Yeah, I like the dark there. But that's just the way that I feel about it. I wish things were different than the way they are, because it just feels very random, and it feels very unfair at times. But it is what it is, and no matter what, I still enjoy doing it. I still enjoy being invited and seeing the enthusiasm for the series when it gets posted. That's absolutely the coolest part about it. Now you might say, well, you all had a good time and you all, enjoy playing and posting it seems to be pretty successful. Why not do more? Why does Mindcrack do so few UHCs anymore? And I really think the reason for that is if we did more, it wouldn't make it better, it would make it worse. And the reason I feel that way is I feel like it has to maintain a specialness. If a UHC being posted isn't a special occasion, then it gets taken a very different way. And if it gets posted regularly, people get a little bit more burned out on it, and they're not as, outright excited about it being posted. So posting it more or doing more UHCs, I don't think makes it better. I think it makes it worse, at least for the people taking part in it. And I really do feel like it makes it worse for the audience too. When they're done very often, it becomes kind of normal feeling and expected. And people start to expect certain things out of it, and people start to look for more nuanced things to take interest in. And overall, because it's a competitive thing, I feel like the audience gets way too competitive about it. I mean, there was a time when these guys and gals of Mindcrack couldn't even play Mindcrack, or they couldn't even do UHC anymore because the audience was being so hostile about it, and killing certain people would get your, account dislike bombed, and you would get horrible messages from people. That's just the competitive nature of humans. Whenever the focus shifts to the pure competitiveness of it, I feel like it's going to stop being fun. And when you do a lot of that kind of thing, it's always going to end up that way. So doing less is probably doing it better, I feel. One a year is not enough, I would say. I would certainly love to see more than one a year of them, but let's say no more than 4 a year, I would say. 3 to 4 would probably do it. That's few enough that people are still going to be interested to see it. They're going to be excited that it's around, but they're not going to be so invested in the competitive nature of it. I think another part of it is the group that is involved. If we don't do a ton of them, what are you doing, Birchleaf? You don't belong in here. If you don't do a bunch of them, and we can kind of shop around for different dates on when it gets recorded, hopefully we can have a different group of people every time as well. So in that, it also helps with the kind of quelching the competitive nature of the whole thing. Because I do think that's an important part of it. Not to say that it's not a competition, and not to say we don't want to win. We just don't want it to be at a point where people are getting so wrapped up into it that they're becoming unfriendly about it. It should be a friendly competition. So less is more there. Let's just say less is more. I think if it's special, it's great. And in order to maintain it being special, it can't be as often as it once was. And especially with the way things have changed in the way you can post videos on YouTube. The general attention span of an audience on YouTube is so much shorter than it used to be, that going going all in on doing a ton of repetitive content isn't great for business these days. So doing less is also more in that sense as well. And speaking of that, another topic I would like to cover today would be the Mindcrack server in general, because because of the UHC probably, it's got people thinking about Mindcrack and about the good old days, quote unquote. There's been quite a bit of discussion about the server and what we should do, what they should do, what Good should do, what anybody should do, because it's not as active server-wise as it once was. And oh boy, do I ever have some opinions on that topic. And let me scoot my notepad down so I can get further into my notes, and we'll breach that subject. Breach? Is that the right word? Broach? What's broach mean? What's the word broach for? Broach, broach, broach. I don't know. So for the server itself, obviously it's currently in a state of overall dormancy. There's a few people playing on it here and there, just like it was for most of the last season. And it continues to be, you know, kind of the place where Good and Jsano do their podcast, and that is, for the most part, the most active content on the server. There's also Doll, who produces lots of Let's Plays on the server. It's very much so, you know, a standard single-player Let's Play style on here. And there's some others, like me and Soccer, that come on every now and again for, you know, just to, I don't know, I kind of do it when I have a day that I don't have much going on and just want to sit and chat and work on something. So yeah, that's kind of the state of where it is right now. And I think it's going to be that way for a good little while. There's not a lot going on in Minecraft at the moment that's super exciting. Sure, there's the Nether update currently, and that's got some people talking like, oh, hey, we gotta reset the server so we can get in that new Nether. Don't think it's necessary, just because... I drowned. Where is he? He must be underground. We're fine. Drowned underground. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be totally necessary, because ooh, that's kind of cool. Can you walk in? No, you can't. Because it's just not enough to bring everybody back in. It's not exciting enough of an update for people to be like, oh, I'm gonna start up that Minecraft series again. Oh, this is a non-spawning building, isn't it? Yes, it is. I don't have to worry about light in this one. Cool. Let's do... Oh, will you not hang from leaves? You won't hang from leaves. Interesting. Can we do a door? Oh, we can do a door. Is it a bit silly having a door when it's open on the sides? It is a bit silly. Do I like it being a bit silly? Kind of, but... Not everybody has a door in this town. Some people just have fence gates. Getting distracted. All right, I'm gonna put a door. All right, so yeah, like I said, the state of the server is probably just gonna maintain where it is right now. And there's been plenty of discussion on what could be done differently to try and, you know, breathe life back into it. And I just don't think that's necessary at the moment. This falls right back into the same discussion we just had about UHC, where less is more. If we try to shove more Mindcrack, you know, Let's Play content down the throats of audiences, they're just not going to want it. They're not going to embrace it. Not only... Oh, wow. Oh, there's a dark oak. Not only do, you know, the creators of the content not want to do that, they don't want to force, you know, feign excitement for a series. You guys don't want to see feigned excitement for a series either, trust me. Nobody actually wants that. I don't feel. There's, you know, the numbers are out there to prove that as well. This is not just a gut feeling thing. This is how it is. This is The numbers, they do not lie. So to say that there needs to be a server reset, or to say that there needs to be some kind of initiative to force people to play on the server or whatever, that's silly to me, especially now. I don't feel like it's the time. There's not enough excitement. When 1.14, I think it was 1.14, came out and this season started, there was lots of excitement. People were very into it. There was a bunch of people that had never played on the Mindcrack server that were part of the Mindcrack group. And that's all super cool. That is, you know, something that genuinely gets people excited. So that was a little bit different. I feel like that was the right time to do it. It was the right place. It was the right patch. Currently, though, not really getting that vibe. And I don't think the excitement is out there for it. So, why waste the opportunity now when we could wait for a little bit later, and when there's actual genuine excitement for, you know, the game and Let's Plays on the server? Let's do it then. Let's not try to force it. That's my take on it there. Trying to force interest of the server is just silly. It's not 2012 anymore. The big thing is everybody knows Minecraft Let's Plays now. Nobody's new to this. If you think you can revive that energy that there was back then, you are just a fool, because that cannot exist anymore, because this already exists. The reason that even I was so interested in the server and Let's Plays on the server back then was because it was so new. I had never seen anything like that before. I didn't know any of these people. I got to watch a whole genre of video crop to life. I got to learn about a whole new crop of people that most of them ended up being very cool, and you know, I was interested to hear about their life experiences and how they got to where they are. You know, and just their general gameplay thoughts, because Minecraft itself was quite new then. There was so much energy around that. And that... Oh, I ran downstairs. That won't exist again, probably. At least not for Minecraft. People know. People know way more than us these days about what is in the game. They know about the people in Mindcrack, and they know about Let's Plays, most importantly. Let's Plays are very much so not a new thing anymore. And because of that, you can't just make a Let's Play and expect it to be popular. Even if it's by established people, and especially if it's not, you know, or especially if it's by non-established people. It just doesn't work that way anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it is that way, and I'm sorry that that makes some people very unhappy, but that's the way that it is. And I think that's the way it will continue to be. So in the future, you gotta be real excited when there's moments where the group all gets together on the server and things are happening like it was at the beginning of this season. But you gotta expect it to be a new experience. You can't expect it to be the old experience. The old experience is gone. That will not happen again. I'm sorry. You gotta be excited for a new experience. And we got that this time. We got to see, you know, the everyday streamers from the Mindcrack server. That was something that had never happened before. The Babs, the Fedrins. We got to see new faces that have long been with the group but never really done anything with Minecraft, like your Jaskies, your Chibleys, your Justins. That was cool. Did it last forever? No. Did I expect it to? No. Was it still an interesting moment in time? Absolutely. That's still something that I thought was really cool. I'm very glad that it happened. And the fact that that moment has kind of come and gone is fine. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's my piece on the status of the Mindcrack server. It doesn't have to be what it used to be to still be something that's important, I feel. I applaud Good and Jasano for kind of continuing the tradition of having a series on here, but even they're not really, I don't want to say they're, how do I word this? They're doing a solo series on the Mindcrack server. Like, it's not the group content that people thrive for, that people are so hungry for. You know, it's kind of just the backdrop to their podcast now. And that's cool that they've, ooh, hey there. That's cool that they've managed to turn it into something that works for them. They've turned it into something that fits their channel and also fits their lives, because they're just two friends that want to talk about stuff. They want to talk about their weeks. They want to talk about certain topics, and the fact that they've been able to do that on the backdrop of the Mindcrack server, pretty cool. That's a pretty cool use of it. It's not going to be wildly popular. It certainly isn't. And it's not going to attract the audience that the Mindcrack server episodes ever did before, because there's nothing new there. There's nothing that's going to grab the eyes of the uninformed. Everybody pretty much knows who those two are, and they're not necessarily doing anything that's groundbreaking Minecraft content. There was a great discussion on the Mindcrack subreddit recently about why has Etho maintained such a huge audience when so few others have. And my answer was pretty simple. He's been absolutely dedicated to Minecraft being the content. That content was never about Etho. It was never an Etho, you know, launch pad of talking about his day-to-day. He was always just interested in Minecraft, keeping up to date on it, doing interesting things in it, and you know, always keeping fresh, keeping sharp on the updates, and not overwhelming it too. You know, like, he doesn't produce that much in the way of content. He just produces enough. So yeah, there's a lot of difference there, and I think that's a big reason why he's probably not interested in playing on something like the Mindcrack server, because he has everything he needs to succeed in the year 2020 making Minecraft content. Producing something on the Mindcrack server does not help him in any way, shape, or form. It might be, you know, a hotbed for an episode or two, but after that, people are just going to go back to watching what they know, and that is Etho playing Minecraft. That was kind of my 2 cents on why and how he's managed to maintain such an audience over there, and I applaud him for it, because he's done really, really well with it. For me personally, my content's still going to continue to just be varied. There's going to be moments of playing this. There's going to be moments where it's all car stuff. There's going to be different phases of stuff that I'm producing, and I'm happy that it's kind of been able to maintain that way. But I'm also a little bit disappointed, obviously, that it has to be that way, because I've never broken through in any particular way. If something managed to break through and actually become popular, I would shift what I do. Like, I would 100% shift the kind of stuff that I'm doing if something actually gained a little traction. So I totally understand why others, especially in this group, kind of decided not to. They decided not to maintain with this stuff because it just wasn't doing it anymore. I don't know any other better way to say it. It just wasn't popular. It wasn't bringing in views. It wasn't cutting it. And you gotta be a special kind of person, I think, in order to maintain an audience within Minecraft. The fact that Beef can do it is amazing. I applaud him immensely for what he is able to do making Minecraft content. I have no idea how he does it. But I can certainly see the different techniques he uses where he does shift. You know, if he sees something starting to slow down, then he'll move on. And if he doesn't have interest in something, then he'll move on. He doesn't try to keep something alive. He doesn't try to put something on life support because he'll put so much effort into keeping something on life support that in the end will never be as successful as if he had just tried to do something new, something different. And I think that's probably, I've never discussed this with him. This is all speculation on my part, but I have to imagine that's why he shifts around in series so much. And, you know, when Mindcrack was hopping for that minute, he got to enjoy playing on Mindcrack for a minute. And then, you know, he tried the source block thing, and then now he's doing the zoo Minecraft thing. The Minecraft audience is extremely hard to keep up with. I've seen it over the years. I'm not new at this. You might not know who I am, but I've been doing this stuff for it's getting close to a decade now. It's been a long time. I've certainly been part of the Mindcrack greater community for the better part of a decade, so I'm not new to this. I know the trends, I know the way this goes, and I know the audience. And the audience for Minecraft content, a little bit toxic at times, but certainly it's very short attention span and hard. Whoa. Did you see a baby zombie just fly into the air over there? Because I did. Yeah, it's difficult to stay afloat in this stuff, and it's difficult to not let it get you down too, because series will come and go. Being super invested in a series is difficult to do. You gotta be ready to just cut it free when you have to. So yeah, again, major applause to Beef for being able to maintain. For me personally, I adore making this kind of content. It's one of the favorite things I get to do in my life. But I also know that I kind of missed the boat on it. I will never have the ability to make Let's Play gaming content on any kind of full-time basis. Like I said, I wasn't there for the right moment to be able to do that kind of stuff. I don't think there'll ever be another opportunity to do that kind of stuff for me. But that's fine. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff as just a hobby and as a passion of mine, and when I get to experience it, then I will. And I take that opportunity to is that song going down? Sure is. To make some videos like this. But I know the future for me, if I'm ever going to have a future in video content, it's going to come through the automotive side of things. It's going to come through my passion for cars and racing and that kind of stuff, because there's still room there. There's still growth within that realm, and it's something that I feel like I have kind of a fresh, unique take on. I have a particular, style and interest in cars that isn't as common. I don't have that for gaming. I don't have anything particularly new, fresh, or interesting for gaming stuff. Essentially, I'm just emulating, the people that I've always loved watching do this stuff, and I don't think that's ever going to be something that really draws an audience to any great degree. So likely this will always be just a passion project for me. Someday, if I ever, do catch a break, if I ever do make some headway in the real life, video, the automotive stuff, probably would shift away from gaming content altogether in video. I think Twitch, I think live streaming is probably an easier place for gaming content to live and maintain. That's just the way I've always felt. It always felt like it didn't have to be so much on life support there on Twitch. I can also kind of be me, and people are a little bit more there for just the conversation and the one-on-one nature of it, versus on YouTube that's kind of just not really a thing. That's not really something that I feel people are in for. Oh, one of my lanterns on me. So I trust that moving forward, gaming content will survive on Twitch for me and in live stream, but for it to survive on YouTube pretty much means that I just never had any success. Unfortunately, if gaming content remains on this channel, it probably means that I just lived my entire existence out in mediocrity. Unless something absolutely staggering happened and, gaming content managed to catch a light on here. I don't foresee that ever happening, no. Did I get lanterns? I didn't. Where were they? Got them. My inventory, it's just like my UHC one. Awful. Got it. So that's a long-winded, rambly discussion on some, I don't know, Mindcrack current events. That is my take on a lot of the things I see some interest in people talking about lately. And hopefully that gives you some insight from somebody that's, kind of closer to the whole thing. Not everybody wants to talk about this kind of stuff, and I totally respect them for that. Most of the Mindcrackers being part of that, they just don't want to discuss any of this stuff because they've done it a million times and nobody's ever listened. So I totally understand and respect them, just kind of letting those discussions fall to the wayside. But I had some thoughts on it, had some opinions, and felt like sharing them, and felt like doing some more progress over here on Swamp Town. Hopefully you enjoyed my rambles. Thank you, as always, for watching, and I'll see you next time, whenever the next time might be.